Welcome. You've found your anchor at the crossroads of power and presence. This is Musings and Modalities. It's time to move beyond the noise and cultivate a legacy rooted in values-aligned leadership and earth energy. We've evolved the conversation, bringing you a grounded perspective on embodying true luxury and beauty in your life and work. If you feel the resonance of truth and are ready for the shift, you are home. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Musings and Modalities. I'm Tristan Stoicki, and I'm so excited for today's episode entitled How to Scale Your Wellness Business Without the Hustle with Julia Schneider. Before I dive into the episode, I want to discuss my current offer for this summer. You've spent decades building a life that looks successful, but you know your profound legacy is meant to be far greater than your current output. You have exhaustion and uncertainty that are blocking your path, and it's time for decisive change. This 12-week one-on-one Musings and Modalities container is the definitive strategic framework designed to eliminate burnout and anchor you into your most impactful decade. This is the energetic and strategic makeover required to claim your next level. This includes radical clarity, where I'll design the exact blueprint of your legacy and implement a values-aligned strategy to build it, ensuring every action aligns with your true purpose. This includes unshakable authority, where you exchange the need for external validation with grounded self-trust, positioning you as the leading embodied authority you're meant to be. As well as proven results, you'll get transformation that delivers immediate and measurable relief from the tired, mad, and blah cycle affecting your health, wealth, and love. With only 3 exclusive slots available, this opportunity is reserved for those who are ready to commit to their quantum leap in impact and income. Book your legacy call today at musingsandmodalities.com and step into your true power. And now I'd love to introduce Julia Schneider. Julia is a wellness professional who has spent the past 17 years helping people live healthier and happier lives. With a background in kinesiology and health services and sciences, she begins her career as a personal trainer and wellness coach before expanding into mentoring other wellness professionals to grow their businesses. Over the years, Julia has led many successful client enrollment campaigns for her wellness business, including fitness challenges, wellness months, online summits, and open houses. Her latest initiative generated $120,000 in course sales. Now she helps other wellness professionals do the same, guiding them to enroll more clients in a joyful and aligned way. Her approach is practical, it's heart-led, and it's rooted in real-life experience. And she believes that when wellness professionals thrive, everyone benefits. We are so aligned in our heart and in our mission. Julia, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I agree. I feel like really strong alignment between us.
Um,
I'm very
Me too. What I love is there was an evolution of your practice, and I've had a few conversations with previous guests about having a pivot and expansion, this beautiful metamorphosis. And you spent those 17 years in the wellness space, and I wanted to talk about, was there a turning point where you realized your true impact, wasn't only in one-on-one work, but really in guiding others and to talk about that journey?
yeah. It was actually a very natural evolution. As you mentioned I started out as a personal trainer, and um, my degree in kinesiology involved physical fitness, some emotional wellness. It was mostly physical, like physical health. So, nutrition, exercise, all of that stuff. So when I started working as a personal trainer, that's what I focused on. But very quickly, I realized that, wait a minute, uh, people need much more than just like physical support, because my clients would come in to work with me, and they would tell me all about, their marital problems, their work issue. Like, there was just like so much emotional processing that was going on. And especially because, you see, I realized later that, because you know how think like our nervous system has a huge role to play in our health. And like, there's even a book called Your Body Keeps the Score. So like,
Yes.
right, so our bodies hold emotions. So like, at the time I didn't realize that, but like looking back, I'm like, oh, that's why. Like, I would stretch someone and they would start crying.
Mm.
And I was like, I don't understand what's going on. So I decided to expand my knowledge, and gain a certification in like specifically like helping people with like their emotional
Mm.
well-being. And then I gradually started noticing, okay, well, there's more to health than even that. People who don't love their job, like let's say, because I had like I mean, I work with lots of corporate people, but like one stands out. Like she used to come to she was furious, like all the she was just so on edge and angry, and like she used to like blink her eyes like all the time because she was like so stressed out. And I was like, well, there's no chance that, I could help her exercise properly, I could help her eat well, I could even teach her, relaxation techniques. But if she goes to work and she feels so angry and like, how can she possibly be healthy? So that's kind of like how I expanded, and I was like, okay, I actually need to help people create a life that makes them happy. And since, like at least until you retire, but sometimes people work even after retirement. But like since work takes up such a big part of someone's life, I should help them actually create work circumstances that make them happy. And so that's kind of like how it all, evolved and shifted.
That's beautiful. And especially, I mean, let's be real, the personal training kind of certifications and education you had probably didn't cover as much as the emotional aspect, which my personal trainer has also shared. Like my husband and I don't do this where we emotionally dump on him, but he's talked about other clients that are treat him as their marriage counselor, basically.
Yeah.
And right, and that can be really challenging, especially if unfamiliar with that work, you don't have the right tools. And so he's had to figure out the tools as well, and so it's really interesting as other wellness professionals expand their business, expand what their own emotional capacity is to help others, that you're able to help guide them in that way.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect segue. So, your approach is described as heart-led and practical, and in an industry where hustle's often the default, especially when it's a service industry, right? Where like there's a lot of time you have to unlearn that working more hours, you know what I mean? Especially when it's you and you're like, oh, I could take on another client. Oh, all right, I got another, I have another hour in me today. But you're really great about teaching wellness professionals to design, enrollment campaigns that feel joyful and aligned and really create a life that feels joyful and aligned rather than draining. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that honestly, that has been like the hardest thing for me to work through for myself. I mean,
Same.
I think our society as a whole, we're just like so conditioned to work hard. Uh, and then, because like as was working through it for myself, then I started bumping into people's judgment.
Mm.
Because when I to this point, to this day, I still feel very self-conscious about telling people that I actually, like in terms of work itself, I actually do very little.
Yeah.
I and because it really gets people like on it, it's like how could you? But I just honestly I have a tendency to burn out. Like that's how it all started, because I just like I'm very driven, I'm very passionate, and just like you were saying, like I totally was the kind of person who was like, oh yeah, I still have like at least an extra hour in me, or and but as you get older, and I just started noticing, I was like, okay, well, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? Because like I don't like feeling burnt out. I really love feeling great. So as I get older, I'm like, I'm just not willing to sacrifice my health for anything really, because your health is your greatest wealth. Like what do you really have if you don't have your health? You could have like millions of dollars, but if you're like on your bed, can barely move, like does it really matter? Like do you really like? So I came from that perspective, and so I just started redesigning my own approach. I do a lot of inner work, like EFT, And I'm also certified in it's called like feminine power coaching, and it's you just basically like transform your beliefs and behavior patterns. So I started doing a lot of that, and I just gradually kind of like tick, 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 and I shifted. But then I had the most incredible like proof that what I was doing is so worthwhile. Because so my events, I started doing them. When did I start doing them? 28. Well, that's aside from the gym events, but like let's the online events. 2018, I think it was. And my first one, I had 300, like a marketing outreach of 300 people. And at
Wow.
the time, I was like, wow, that's great. But then I decided after the event, I was like, you know what? For my next one, I want to have like a bigger marketing outreach, and I decided to hire a summit coach. Like I talked to a summit coach, and I wanted her to like help me, like give me a strategy. And she said that she basically said you should post at least 4 times a day for at least 4 months, and maybe then you'll gain some traction. And when I got off the call, I was like, there's like no chance that I'm doing that. It just sounded so
Yeah.
gross, so
Everything in your body recoiled,
yeah,
right? Yeah, been
so,
there. Yep.
and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And what I did instead, I paddleboarded. I I love paddleboarding. I love being in nature, and so I just went outside to the lake as often as I wanted to, and I just paddleboarded and relaxed and had fun and just like spent time with my friends. And what was happening, especially when I paddleboard, like there's something about being on the water. I get so many downloads. I just get like so
Mhm.
much inspiration. And literally less than a year later, my marketing outreach went to 58,000. So like from 300 to 50.
Yeah.
I did not do anything. And like when I say this to people, they don't believe me. I literally did not do anything. I paddleboarded. That's all I did. And
But to be real, your energy changed. You moved into a receptive state to receive it, right? Your nervous system accepted it. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. And that's when I realized I was like, this hustle energy is actually what gets in the way of success. Because if
Yep.
I listened to that coach and I actually sat there in front of my computer and posted and posted until I was like, this
Sick of
would
it.
not
Yeah.
happen. I
Yeah.
would probably maybe like move like this much. But because I rested and like exactly like you said, I just opened up and the energy shifted, and that's exactly how it happened. So after that experience, I was like, okay, there's something, and I just gradually and then I teach my clients to do the same thing. It's like just listen to your intuition, rest as much as you need to, enjoy your life, and success is going to be like multiplied tenfold.
Yeah, because so often, and I we had an entrepreneurs event in Raleigh yesterday, and I was talking with other incredible business owners, and that's where you and I met and connected. And I was talking to them, and we were talking about whenever they've tried to force something or tried to like follow the advice of others that has this very masculine energy of go, do, push beyond your boundaries, sacrifice, all of these like kind of awful words that, your whole body just kind of goes in a little bit. And they were like, no, like I don't want to do that. And I also don't want to recreate a life that I left from corporate because we were also talking about they were, not being a good boss to themselves and they were really not letting themselves have lunch. You know what I mean? And just like they recreated the horrible work environment they had worked their ass off to leave. And so many women I talk to do the exact same thing. And it's really, really easy to fall into that trap. And so really like the idea of like, I'm someone I take a nap every single day. That's my non-negotiable. I just do, Feels great. Tuesday, I took a 2-hour nap. Incredible, absolutely no notes. I felt no guilt about it. And oftentimes I'll have phone and I'll have like sales after, you know what I mean? And it just always reinforces for me that's always the right decision is to rest, reflect. I love to travel. My business always gets better when I travel as well, like similar with you on the water. Yeah, I'm sure you've had the same experiences.
Oh, it's great. It's like,
It is.
and you know what? Because like every time because like in the past when I went paddleboarding, I had this like voice in my head. It's like, oh, you're just so irresponsible. Like you should. And then I was like, you know what? No,
Yep.
paddleboarding is the responsible thing to do
Yep.
because that's like my best business growth strategy.
Amazing. Oh, that's incredible. And so, wanted to dive in a little bit to talk about, you led an initiative that created or generated 120K in course sales, which is amazing. And when you're mapping out these campaigns, whether it's a fitness challenge previously or this, online summits, how do you ensure that what you're building stays rooted in genuine connection? Especially rather than just numbers, especially when you have that voice saying maybe, oh, work a little harder, reach out to more people. Just wanted to talk through that because I firmly believe not all money is good money. And right? And so that's something I kind of take very close to myself to be like, does this feel good? Does it align with my values? And I'd love to hear from you how you navigate that.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because again, it's all about this the noise of society. For me, like my biggest challenge is because like the voices out there keep saying you have to do things certain way, but like my intuition. So that's my biggest challenge with this. But what I do, what I do is first of all, I commit to the vision.
Yeah.
So it's when I create these events, like it's not just this practical, okay, we need to, make six figures in the next half a year. Let's outline how to do it. No, I go paddleboarding. It's always paddleboarding, and I receive the vision. I really ask the universe what wants to be created through me,
Mhm.
and I just listen and I receive the vision, and then I'm committed to the vision. And no matter what my mind says or what people out there say about like strategy and be practical, and I do not listen to that unless I need help with something, and then I just choose kind of like pick and choose the things that will be helpful.
Yeah.
But I always go back to it's like I'm sure you have the same experience. It's like a project has a life of its own, right? Like a
Yes.
project, right? So I just have this intention of having a certain amount of like certain result
Yeah.
and a certain amount of money that I want to come in. But money is energy, right? Like money, so
It
it's
is.
like so for the most part, what I do is I just adjust to the energy. I do a lot of that. But then, of course, you have to be practical too. Like it's not all just like airy fairy kind of things. But I always check the numbers, and like if let's say the numbers are not matching what I see in the vision, then I just tune in and I was like, okay, well, what's my next step in order to get the numbers that I want? So
Yeah.
I guess to summarize, it's like all the vision leads everything, and the practical steps just match what the vision is asking for.
Which is beautiful because I think you're doing a few things within that, which is you're checking at each moment what's resonant, right? Is it helpful or is it pulling you away
Mhm.
from the vision? And then you're also checking, like, from a very practical standpoint, because oftentimes people do one or the other. They either have very practical guidelines and milestones, and in their body, they start to feel when they are making those or they feel that lack. They then go throw everything at the wall, which definitely isn't resonant, or they just start to, beat themselves up internally, right? And they like start to have really negative thinking, which is repelling all the results they want. And so I think it's really important, like keeping true to the vision and that resonance. But like I check my numbers always. Like
Yeah,
I am so like almost neurotic about like what's coming in, how's it going, you know what I mean? Because I want to make sure when I'm focused on that, like I know exactly what's happening, what's coming through. Because yeah, you have to treat it with the respect it deserves.
yeah, I love that. I really love that. Yeah, exactly. Because like money, money is a energy, and like
Yeah.
you know, it's if you respect it, it just wants to come closer.
It does. No, it absolutely does. I had a great a former guest, Cherise Bateman. We talked about dating your money, right? And I that really stayed with me because she talked about how, really taking your money, like out to dinner, like getting dressed up to like look at it. And that really reframed for me, kind of going even further my relationship with money, which is so key because oftentimes people are like, well, I have this great framework, I have this great strategy, I know I can help people. And then they look at their relationship with money or don't most of the time, and they go, oh, actually, I grew up in a situation that maybe gave me some habits that aren't helpful, and there's a lot of inner work for them to be able to receive because ultimately it's not about someone not being as skilled or any, you know what I mean? None of that is true or real. Like we all have the ability for infinite capacity of receiving is my firm belief. But
Mhm.
there is a lot of inner work to get there, perhaps, especially depending on your starting point.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, it's interesting because like I just this morning I was talking to somebody else. It's like the receiving part that I would say that's real. And so receiving and holding because
Mm,
you could receive, but if you don't have someone I studied talked about as your money container. So the size of your money container. So it's like if it's if it's small, for example, and a lot of money comes in, it would crack, meaning
mm.
that so receiving is one part and then holding it actually like not freaking out and like because you know how there's like studies about how lottery winners
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
The money like typically within like 2 years or so, and that's exactly the reason. It's kind of because their nervous system is not comfortable with it, so they spend it, give it, So it's like so those two things are, I think, super important.
I think the last cycle that I worked through myself, which is where money would come in, but then something else would take it away, or it would be just enough, right? It would be just enough to get me to that next level. And I would be able to manifest just enough to like get this course I wanted or work with this coach, but
Yeah,
it wasn't enough to thrive. And yeah, it was really interesting as I worked through that like the last few years to get to the point of holding. And even as I think about holding, an eight-figure business, right? That takes another level of energy that I've really had to work through and being like making sure I can be an ethical multimillionaire and like how that sits, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Um, I did want to talk about legacy because, of course, it's my favorite topic. And so I wanted to talk about, how a wellness professional really stepping into their authority, maybe, they're perhaps leaving a gym workplace, that didn't have the best, they're going out on their own, or they're really kind of doing this thing, how they can fundamentally change the lives of the clients they serve and kind of serve their own legacy. So I talk about values alignment a lot, but I was wondering what kind of guidance you kind of offer to them as they're building their legacy.
I would suggest like following your inner guidance because it's you know how acorns
Yeah.
uh they're like so they're it's tiny little seed, but they know exactly how to become an oak. It's like it's
Mhm.
coated. They have a coating inside. So it's like you put them in the right environment and this ancient wisdom inside just like they grow into this huge tree. So as humans, I believe we're exactly the same. We are born as babies and then we grow. So if as long as we tune into the signal of our own actualization and follow it, I think that's what leads us to our legacy, like living our legacy. It's yeah, it's just like a very innate kind of everybody has a purpose. Everything
Mhm.
that is alive has a purpose, and if we just tune into it and follow it, then things just unfold in the most amazing way.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And having that discernment, I think, to understand what it isn't, right? I've had to do work to be like, oh, my legacy isn't going to include these factors. It's not,
Yeah,
it's not something it's not for me, and that's okay.
yeah, 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 yeah.
In our last few minutes, I want to talk about the incredible event you have in September. Please share all the details about it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so that's like my next step in my own evolution. So um this event is specifically for wellness professionals who so they already have a pretty established business, but like the income is still kind of up and down. and they just want to have this consistent flow of clients, so they can just relax and enjoy themselves. And yeah, and I'm bringing in amazing speakers. You're gonna be one of them, and just like
So excited.
really incredible topics. I'm just like, I can't wait to share it with the attendees. And it's gonna be, so there's gonna be talks and there's gonna be implementation workshops, because I just want to help people to actually like have something tangible to walk
Yeah.
away with. And then after the event, we're gonna have more support, like community support, to actually take what was done during the event and put it in practice in real life.
Yeah.
And lots of networking opportunities, and just like, so the goal of the event is to help people to go to the next level in their business. And just like, again, like speaking of legacy and potential, just like follow their legacy and potential and just like reach the highest level they can. And so yeah, that's
Oh,
it's September 11th to the 13th. That's when it's gonna happen. Yeah.
yes, and I'm so honored to be a part of it, doing a talk and a workshop. It's going to be incredible. And I think what I'm most excited about is to be part of recalibration and connection, because it's so beautiful when you get an incredible group of people together that are having the same challenge, and they get to connect with other people, and then you see the growth over the weekend, and then you see the growth, for the weeks and months after that. And then they have these, beautiful connections, perhaps partnerships that could be formed, just all those opportunities in the air. And I feel like that helps raise the vibration of every single person involved, at such a beautiful level. And so it's going to be amazing, and such an honor to be a part of this.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Me too. Where can the audience find you? And is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so my website, I have a few websites, but one of them is alivewithspecibilitysummit.com, and that's where I share a little bit about my work. And if anyone, like, I love helping people organize events as well. So if anyone wants to reach out, and if you want tips, or just if you want to like talk about me helping you out, you can reach me at julia@alivewithpossibility.ca. I'd love to talk to you. Mhm.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here, Julia. I've had the best time chatting with you.
Thank you. Yeah, same here. This was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
I'm so glad. And thank you all so much for watching Musings and Modalities. Tune in the second and fourth Thursdays of each month at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for more fabulous episodes. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Musings and Modalities. The truth has a resonance, and if you felt that today, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Be sure to share this episode with anyone ready to step into their legacy.